All right. So, working remotely and earning in dollars. So, these are the things we're going to talk about. There are some other things I have in my notes that I will check out soon. So, first of all, introduction. My name is Demola Adebusoye, and I've been doing digital marketing communications for over 10 years. I studied agriculture in school, but then I found myself doing digital marketing. I have never used my certificate to work. In short, I have not collected it from my school. I graduated in 2016 and I have not collected my certificate. I have never used it to work. No place I have worked has ever asked for it, not even for documentation purposes. The reason behind that is because I'm excellent at what I do, and then they see the results before they even call me. So, one of the things you're going to do to be successful as a remote worker is to be excellent. To be excellent. There's a verse in the Bible that says, "Study to show thyself approved." So you need to learn some things along the line that would help you become excellent at what you do. Benefits of working remotely. Everyone knows that. Oh, same. So there's this other thing that is also an issue while working remotely because people want people that have experience. How do you get experience? It's by doing things that you want to do or doing the things you believe that this is my way. I started communications in university. In short, I set up the media unit of my faculty, Faculty of Agriculture in Ekiti State University then. And I wrote an article that got me to the VC's office for the wrong reasons. And then I started doing magazine publications. I called it Rainbow Magazine. I will edit, I will design, I will create the content, I would write everything in the magazine myself from any topic: sports, finance, what other industry, food, nightlife, lifestyle, fashion. I would sit down on my laptop and research. I would research and then I would have a magazine out. 30 pages, 40 pages, 24 pages. I did 10 editions of that. I had already done 3 editions before I got my first paying job. I was working for myself. The goal for that magazine was that, oh, okay, eventually I'm going to, magazine is going to become big and uh, people will start paying for adverts. In short, I even had advert rates. A full page was 100,000 naira. This was 2016. Full page for an unknown magazine. Today the magazine is defunct, but I'm still here. The knowledge I have gained from that experience is still with me. So the benefits of working remotely. Number one, there's good work and life balance. In Lagos, when you go to work in the morning, you wake up 4 o'clock. In short, Lagos is a very terrible place to live in. I tell people that it's a very, very terrible place to live in. I've lived in Ondo State, I've lived in Ekiti State, I've lived in Akwa Ibom, and I can say that Lagos is very terrible to live in. And I took a job on the island. I did that job for 3 months and I resigned because I had to go from Bagada to Aja every morning and I have to resume before 8 o'clock. So the good work life balancing is that when you're tired, you can go and lie down maybe for 2 hours and then get back up and then go and do what you are doing. And then you're able to work at the time which you perform best. While I was working full time, when I go to the office, I just go there to play. I play game on my laptop because I don't work well during the day. Like that's this time you will see me. I won't perform well. I'm just there and just there to while away time. But when it's 9 o'clock in the night, What I didn't do for 12 hours during the day, I will do it in 3 hours. So I was able to balance these things when I started working remotely. Okay, I know that this is the time I perform optimally, and then this is the time that I know that this one is just for playing, maybe playing PS2 or PS3, and just playing with my wife and my son. Another benefit is that it's an opportunity for self-development. If you don't have self-discipline before, you have to discipline yourself. You have to develop yourself to be self-disciplined because it's going to help you develop yourself when you're working remotely. Because your manager is not in the next door. He's not going to come and start peeping at you. If you have worked in advertising agencies in Nigeria, you know how these things work. They will come and just peep. If they see that you are talking or listening, they are noting it down. So at the end of the month, they will come and deduct your salary. That's that, and then it gives you opportunity to earn more. It gives you the opportunity. You can do 3 jobs at a time, depending on the kind of employment you have. If you are getting jobs on Upwork, you can do like multiple roles, multiple jobs at the same time, and then they pay you. Some people pay weekly, some pay monthly, some pay per job. As you deliver the job, they pay you. So common misconception about remote work that I asked earlier. Say remote workers don't work as hard as it is a lie. It is a big lie. In short, remote workers work harder than people who are in full-time roles. I'm there, I know, because I'm in it. You work harder than people that are in, because you cannot but not deliver. You have to deliver. Nobody, when you think about earning $2,500 per month, do that conversion to naira, and then you don't deliver, you lose the job now. You lose the earning, and then you're back to square one. So you will not even want to lose the job. So you will work harder than you would have worked if you are earning 150,000 naira in Lagos. So you will definitely work hard. Another misconception is remote workers are always available. So that's why when your neighbor is going out, they say, the that boy is working from home, let him take care of my children, or let him help me look after these things. Remote workers are not always available. We are not always available. There's something we call the core working hours when you're working remotely. For me, my core working hours is between 12 to 4. My boss knows that once it's 4 o'clock, she cannot reach me because I will go for school runs. I go and pick my son from school, take care of him till his mom comes back at 6 o'clock. Then, so remember I talked say something about work-life balance earlier. This is another advantage of it. You're able to balance your normal life with your work. If you're in Lagos, you can't leave your office and say you're going to pick your child. So you will now have to pay extra for school bus that will bring the child home or bring the child to your office. Or you pay extra to keep the child till 6 p.m. You are spending more. But when you're working remotely, this thing doesn't happen. You already have, in short, one of the first things you do when you resume is that your boss will ask you your schedule. They are going to ask you, when would you prefer to resume in the morning? For me, I resume by 10 o'clock. And I officially close up by 5 o'clock. But sometimes I need to work late because maybe there are a lot of tasks that needs to be done. So another misconception is that remote work is only for certain professionals. Like you said, IT. Someone said IT here. Remote work is for everybody. Accountants, electrician, they're consultant electricians. They work remotely for real estate development countries all over the world, but they're in Nigeria here. What the company will do is they will send their building plan to the electrical consultant, and he looks at the building plan and then develops the wiring system and everything from his AutoCAD system, and then sends it back to them, and then they pay maybe 5,000 US dollars. Teachers can work remotely. There are a lot of online schools, a lot of it. Online schools. If you go online and go and look for remote teaching jobs, you will find it. I noticed that one other thing that people don't understand is if you search for these things, you will find it. In your mind, you'll be thinking that doesn't exist, doesn't exist. But if you go online and search for it, you will find it. Is anybody maybe a plumber here? Uh, so what do you do at the back? Yes, electrical. Okay, I've already talked about you. I've talked about opportunity for you. Sir. What do you do, sir? Daddy. Yes, sir. No, no, sit down. Yeah, what? Businessman. What kind of business? Bureau de change. You people have money now. You people have money. Your own is you're even working remotely already as bureau de change. You can work from anywhere. People will call you and say, "Oh, please, I need dollars. Bring it." So everybody, please take his number because in the next few months you will start earning in dollars. You want to change your dollar to naira. Please, please take his number. So anything you are looking for, any job, anything you do, you can find remote roles for it online. So preparing for remote work, this is where the majority of the problem is. People just think that, oh, let me just apply for any job. I can get it, I may not get it. But you need to be prepared. For example, you need a good laptop. I will say, I don't. There are people online that will tell you, any laptop you have will work, any this phone you have. It is a lie. It is a big lie. You will put yourself in trouble if you use just anything. You will put yourself in big trouble because you won't be able to deliver. There isn't a laptop that is not good, and then they ask you to do a graphic design for maybe an event they have the next day, and they're using Photoshop on a laptop that is not good. To be hanging now, and then you will be there frustrated. You'll be it's very frustrating. I've been there. I've used laptops that I have to what's it called, hard reset. I press the power button to off it, then load it again, and I wait for another 30 minutes before it loads. Ah no, you don't want to be in that shoe. A good phone is important. I don't not let me mention brand name because I have experience with a with a brand, an Android phone that almost took my life. I want to change from one screen to the other, from one app to the other. Then I press the home button to for it to load where I will switch. Problem. So I will wait and wait. Time is going. You may look at this and it's not just you just wait for 1 minute, wait for 2 minutes. You may even get distracted while you're waiting for it to load. So you need good equipment. You need your good phone. You need a good laptop. Another thing that is very, very important. We have a problem with it in Nigeria. Internet. Internet connection. You need at least an internet that will give you 2 megabytes per second because you will do a lot of meetings. There are days that I have meetings, I have up to 4 meetings with different teams in the same company because we have to collaborate. We have to talk to each other. Okay, what are you doing with this? What are you doing with this? What are you expecting from me? What I'm expecting from you, and all that. And you will not do this meeting physically, you do it online. You will do it on Teams, you do it on Google Meet, you do it on Zoom, you do it on Slack, different platforms for this. So for me, I use myself as an example. What I have in my house, I have 24 hours internet, unlimited. I pay, I think, about 17,500 for it. It's cheap, right? It's cheap. You said? It's worth it. It's cheap. 17,500 per month, unlimited. I can't mention the name. Yeah, so you can see me after behind and then I will tell you platforms to use that would help you. So I pay 17.5. Then I have MTN, MiFi. I shouldn't have mentioned the name of the. Oh. So I have two mobile carriers that I use, one on my phone and one MiFi, such that so that when the main internet fucks up, because they will fuck up, There is no internet provider in Nigeria today that will not mess you up. And you know the funny thing about them is they will mess you up when it is most important. When it is more. Yesterday I was going to have a meeting. My internet was working fine, perfectly. I've been watching Netflix this morning. Time for my meeting. I switched from Gen to NEPA, and the internet did not connect again. The internet did not connect. It was since morning. It was working fine, no problem. It was blue, very fast. And then time for my meeting. 5 minutes to my meeting, the thing refused to connect. If I didn't have backup, I would have been panicking. So I just took my phone, turned on my hotspots, and connected it to my laptop, and had my meeting about 45 minutes without hitch. But till today, that network has not connected. The home network. Till this morning, I was living home, has not connected yet. So there's no service you use in Nigeria that will not mess you up. There's no, and I'm saying it with my chest. Anybody, any internet provider that knows that they will not mess you up, they should come and meet me. I'll give them review. But there's none. While preparing for remote work, you need to hone your skills. You need to hone your skills. Because during the interview, they will test you. It's not like Nigerian interviews. Oh. You'll be relaxed. You'll be, friendly and all that. But when they will hit you with a question like this, you look at, so what am I doing with my life now? That's how it will be. But if you hone your skills and they ask you any question, you'll be able to answer it easily without stress. I remember one of the interviews I had, the interviewer asked me, so can you walk me through your process for blog writing or for editing blogs? I avoid mentioning my earnings at events or even online because of safety purposes. Yeah, so I won't mention it. But I will tell you one thing: the minimum amount you will earn for some kind, for example, I'm in communications. So the minimum amount you will earn from communications is $1,500 per month. That's the minimum that you will earn, and that's because you're in Nigeria. So I've mentioned how many things about preparing: good laptop, good phone, good internet, hone your skills. Another thing is power supply. Make alternative plans. If it's a better pass for neighbor that you have, please buy it. At least to power your laptop, to charge your phone, to power your internet. Make alternative plans for power supply. Even if you have 20 hours power supply in a day, make alternatives now because the Ikeja Electric will disappoint you. Those are the things you need. Your skills, phone, laptop, power supply, internet. I'm going to hammer on internet again. Internet, please, please, please. And don't wait until you get the remote job before you put these things in place. Don't wait until you get a remote job before you put these things in place. Ordinarily, it will even help yourself. Without getting a remote, it will help you as a person if you have these things in place. So finding a remote job. I mentioned work experience earlier. I mentioned how you can, build your experience levels. So another way you can build your experience level is this. If you discover a field that you want to go into, that you want to practice, you don't need a job to begin to practice that field. You need to give yourself tasks in that field and then do it and publish it. For example, you want to go into writing, write a blog, publish it online. They are free, WordPress is free, Blogger is free. Publish it. So that there are some companies that will tell you to send samples of your work. What will you show if you don't have it? You just, it's in my head. I know it, Abi. If you want to be a consultant electrician, go online, go and look for courses. There are free courses. There are free courses on. See me after the. But there's one I will mention. Sailor, because that one is free. You don't need to pay for anything. They will give you certificates. The Sailor Academy. Saylor Academy, Saylor, then Academy. My wife is doing an HR course on that platform currently because we want to get her into remote roles too, and we want her to do HR, Saylor, Saylor, Saylor Academy. There are several courses on there that you can do. There's exam too. You will do the exam. If you pass, I think the pass rate is 80%. You need to score 80% to get a certificate from them. So there are other ones that are very many online. Another one that is free is Google. There are Google courses that are very free, especially if you want to go into digital marketing, digital communications, social media management, and social media management now is a big deal. I think there was a job posting I saw that they were looking for a social media manager and they were willing to pay $1,000 for managing social media. $1,000. That's 700,000 naira. Black market rate 730,000 naira for social media management. What you are doing is creating content, write copy, and then post. If you are lucky, they will have someone that is doing their design. If you are not lucky, you need to learn how to design using Canva. So I've given you a course or an industry you can go into. Now, social media management is big. It's big. So you have mobile phones. Everyone has their phones. You go on Instagram. All those things you're seeing on Instagram is created by somebody, and the person is getting paid for it. Sabinus is getting paid for his comedy. If you go on YouTube, you see adverts on it. Brashagi was saying he did an interview and he said in a month what he earns is around 7,000 US dollars in a month from YouTube only. From YouTube only. That's aside endorsements and all that. So another remote work that you can do for yourself if you don't want to work for companies is creating content online. An electrician, you want to can become a what's it called now? A force in your field. Start posting content about wiring, house electric. What's the word? That electrician brother, where is it? Okay, what do you use to conduits, wiring, all those stuff? I've written about electrician works before, so I know some of these things. When you go online, look for content that has to do around that, and then create it in your own style and start posting it online. Post it on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. You'll be funny that some people need how to fix a broken socket. This is the socket. How to fix it. Just do a video of it and put it online. You will see people watching it. DIY. That's what people are using to eat too. Especially Americans, they don't do the traditional job again. DIY. Go on YouTube, you find it. How to fix sockets. Working remotely does not have to be for a company. It can be for yourself. Sabinos is working remotely. Barashagi is working remotely. Kiki, she's working remotely for themselves. There's this guy, Tayo Aino, the YouTuber. In short, he has made his own into a company, not just a YouTube channel alone. He has employed people. I've talked about stable internet, good laptop, great communication. Yes, great communication skills is very, very important. Great communication skills is very because your interview, they're going to judge you based on your communication skills. They're going to judge you based. I'm going to talk more about that later. CV and cover letter. See, put CV, put it to one side. Put that one first. Your cover letter is more important than your CV when applying for remote roles, especially when they ask for a cover letter. Your cover letter should have, it's just you bragging. That's what your cover letter should do. Brag about what you can do in your cover letter. Let me look. My internet is not connected. I would have showed you an email I sent to one company uh, where the application had closed I think 2 days earlier or 3 days earlier than when I sent my application. The first thing I did was I said, hold on, literally in the email, hold on, read this first before you make your decisions going further. Then I went on to talk about how I've worked in non-profit, how I've worked in entertainment, the things I've done, the blogs I've published. One of the jobs I did, they signed a card, an e-card for me, where everyone wrote how they felt about me. I attached that e-card, I attached the link of that e-card in that mail and sent it to them. Their application window had closed. But guess what? They called me. So if you think that CV is not important, I'm telling you now, sorry, cover letter is not important. I'm telling you now that it is more important than your CV when applying for remote roles. It is more important. So one thing you want to do, make sure you address your cover letter to the company, not make it generic. If it is company A that is applying, that is employing, you address to the hiring manager, company A, put their address if they have one on their website, so that they know that you have gone to check them out. Those are the things they look for. People that pay attention to detail. If the name of if they have their teams, because there's some companies that have teams on their website, you click on the teams and you can see the HR's name. Put the name of the HR in the letter. That is just one trick of getting noticed, because they will receive a lot of cover letters. But the ones that will catch their attention the most when they see their name written. If the name of the person is Chukwuemeka, dear Chukwuemeka, avoid using Mr. or Mrs. except when it's put on the website as Mr. or Mrs. But if they put the name there as the way it is, don't put Mr. when you're writing your letter. You get that? Don't put Mr. or don't put Mrs. when you're writing your letter. Uh, I said mention, put the address, the company's address, in your what they call that thing in English again? You know, letter writing, your own address on the top right, the company's basically the receiver's address on the left side, just below your own address, and then dear sir, the salutation, and then the heading, application for the role you're applying for. And then you go ahead and tell them how happy you were to, first of all, see the application, and then tell them how happy you are that you feel that this role, that you match the role, or the role is for you. That's very important. Just a line. uh, I read with great interest your job posting for a digital communications manager, and I'm happy that this role fits in with what I do. Full stop. Then you go ahead and talk about your skills, the softwares you can. If so some of the companies will mention the softwares they need you to be able to use. So if you are applying, I'm talking about communication because I'm in communications. So they will tell you they need you to be able to use email marketing softwares like maybe MailChimp, Klaviyo, or Marketo. Some people will say they want you to be able to use Salesforce. Some people will say they want you to be able to use LinkedIn Ads Manager, and several things. So if you're able to use those things, your second paragraph should show that, oh, I can use these softwares that you have mentioned in your job description. Then the top paragraph will now go ahead and show how you have used it in previous roles, or the achievements you have had in previous roles. Then now go ahead to how your skills will benefit the company. And then you close it by, I look forward to hearing from you. Then your name, salutation, and blah blah. It's very important. Um, I hope I would send samples. Okay, sorry. Let me check. I think I have samples here. So I said I was excited to read about the available positions of communications and marketing manager at a fresh chapter. You know what I did there? I put the name of the company that is hiring. I didn't just say at your company because that way it looks generic. Look like you just something you just copy and paste and then that's what you are sending to everybody. You don't want it to be like that. So I was excited to read about the available position of communication and marketing manager at the first chapter. With over 6 years of experience in digital marketing communications, I am confident that my did you see the choice of word there? I am confident that my skills and experience makes me an ideal candidate for this role. As a marketing communications professional, I have a proven track record of developing and executing successful integrated marketing campaigns that drive engagement and generate leads. I have extensive experience in all aspects of digital marketing, including search engine optimization, which is SEO, pay per click advertising, social media marketing, email marketing, and content marketing. I am also well versed in web analytics and have a deep understanding of how to use data to inform and optimize marketing strategies. I am proficient with the use of Asana, is a project management software, Marketo, email marketing software, Filmora, video editing software, Canva, Adobe Photoshop, and WordPress. So those two paragraphs already showed what I can do and the softwares that I can use. I now told them about my previous role. In my previous role at Humanton, as the International Financial Reporting for Non-Profit Organization Communication Officer, I was involved in writing and sending newsletters, create social media content, design simple graphics, and edit videos. I was also involved in project management and other aspects of communication. This is showing what I did in my previous role. Hallelujah. So I now want to talk about myself again. I am a strong communicator and skilled collaborator, able to work effectively with cross-functional teams. Now, I intentionally put that there to show that I can work remotely. Cross-functional teams. So team A, team B, team C, and I can be in the middle. So I'm working with everybody. Because for me as a communications person, I need to be able to work with all departments in the establishment. So to achieve common goals. I'm also highly organized and able to manage multiple projects simultaneously, ensuring that all deliverables are completed on time and to the highest standards. So I am excited by the opportunity to bring my skills and experience to a fresh chapter and to help drive growth through effective marketing campaigns. I would welcome the opportunity to discuss position further. That is an example of a cover letter. Now tell me if you are the hiring manager and you read this, will you schedule me for an interview or not? This is how you get into the interview. This is how you get into the interview phase of any company, even Nigerian companies. Your cover letter should talk extensively. Like I said, is you bragging about yourself. That's what your cover letter is. It's just you bragging about yourself. Then we'll now go to the CV. You know, the natural CV does not need your marital status, your age. You don't need all those things in CV again. So and so one tip, if you're applying for remote roles, uh, at the top you write your name, your surname, where you put your address, put Lagos, the open brackets, available to work remotely across any time zone. It is very important for them to know that okay, you can work within their time zones. You know now, like we're in the morning now. America is they'll be at what time in America? Probably you said 2 a.m. and you're in your daytime. So they need to be sure that you can work in tandem with them, such that you can attend meetings. Because some of the meetings will fall in the night if you are working with an American-based company. But they need to be able to know that you can work in their time zone. They will give you what we call core working hours, like I mentioned earlier. Your core working hours are maybe the after when everybody is awake, so it may be 4 or 5 hours maximum, and they will monitor your time. There's a software called Bamboo HR. Excuse me. They use that to monitor your time. So at the end of each day, there's a timesheet that you fill to show this is what I did within the 8 hours I'm supposed to work in a day. So depending on your agreement with the company, you may be required to work 40 hours in a week or 30 hours in a week. But at the end of the month, your time must be complete. Your time must be complete that you have used. And please, try as much as possible not to lie in your time sheets. It's very important because I know Nigerians, you can say, "Ah, I did this thing in 2 hours. Let me just say I did it in 4 hours so that I have more time to play PS5." So that's that about. Please, are you following? Am I communicating? Okay. I needed to ask that because we're a little bit cold. I'm not getting feedback. So websites to get good remote roles. Can you see them or should I mention them? For non-profit, if you're looking for jobs in non-profit organizations, you go to idealist.org. Idealist.org. That's what I use. I'm sure that in all the videos you've been seeing online about to go to work, nobody has mentioned this thing before. Nobody. Because they want you to come and pay for it. That's the trick. So we'll give you the general ones that everybody knows. LinkedIn, I have one here too. Indeed, everybody knows Indeed, right? So we'll give you the general ones that everybody knows. They will not tell you to pay for a master class, where we'll give you the details, the in total. And some people will still not mention this idealist.org because they don't know. So another one, my former company where I worked, Humanton.org, they're non-profit, they're a big non-profit organization worldwide. Humanton, they are big, so they have other NGOs that are like, should I say, work in collaboration with them. So when those NGOs need people to fill specific roles, there's a job board on this humanton.org. So when you go to humentum.org, humentum.org, locate their job boards on the website. Just go to the job boards and then begin to search for roles. There are a lot of accounting roles there. There are a lot of accounting. There are a lot of project management roles on that platform. LinkedIn. So this is the trick for LinkedIn. I know many people have applied for LinkedIn. You see easy apply, pam, apply, pam. You know the thing about easy apply is that your CV is not tailored to the role you are applying for when you use easy apply on LinkedIn. Do people use LinkedIn here? If you use LinkedIn, please, LinkedIn. So the thing about LinkedIn is you have a CV already uploaded to LinkedIn. So when you see a job that okay, I think I can do this job, you just hit on easy apply, bam. It sends the CV that you uploaded before. Some people have uploaded their CV maybe like 5 years ago. I see the same CV they are using and it's there. What that does is that the job you're applying for, they don't see what they need to see in your CV because the CV you put there is a general CV. It's not tailored to the job you're applying for. So I tell people, avoid easy apply jobs. Avoid it. So those jobs that now direct you to the company's website, not the one that will direct you to the third party website, to the company's website, go. To go and apply on the websites. Those are the ones you should follow. You should pay close attention to them. Because that one, they will ask you all the questions and then you have to upload your CV manually. That way you will remember that, oh, let me edit this CV to match this job description that they've asked. So many companies use something they call there's an HR management system that scans through the CVs that you send. So they look for keywords. The keywords are in their job description. And if they search for those keywords and it's not on your CV, trash. So that is why it is important for you to tailor your CV at every application. Tailor your cover letter at every application. So another website we work remotely. Just go on Google and search them. Remote.co, Indeed. It's very hard to get interviews from Indeed, especially if you're in Nigeria. But if you have family in UK, USA, yeah, they can use Indeed. It's good for them. Very good for them. But for we in Nigeria, Indeed no dey work. Use LinkedIn and use if you are looking for non-profit jobs too. Use Idealist and use humantom.org. You get really, really, really good jobs there. I've talked about cover letter. I've talked about CV already. So during your interviews, be confident because you know what you are doing, right? You will not apply for a job you cannot do. Abi, you apply for a job you cannot do. So because you know you can do the job, you apply. So when during your interview, you have to be confident. Speak with authority. Speak with when not when they ask you a question, say I was in an interview and the interviewer asked me, "Oh, do you know how to use Google advertising or advertise on Google?" I said, "Oh, yes, I can advertise on Google using." I told them this using Google AdWords and the keyword management tool, Google Keyword Manager. I mentioned it. I didn't just say yes. I didn't just stop at yes. I mentioned the tools that I use to do those things. So if they ask you, "Oh, are you confident? Are you confident?" I'm using electricians again, or elect people. They don't like calling elect. There's a name they call you people. What's the name? Elect. Okay. So are you confident using? Are you confident creating a demo for your wiring structures? I'm just hypothetically. You won't just say yes. You say, "Oh yes, I can. I use AutoCAD. I use this. I use that. I use." That's what. It's not the yes they want to hear. Is this the ability to use those softwares is what they want to hear. So that's about interviews. Another thing is you want to show up on time. My interviews, I get there at least 3 minutes before the any other person. I get there 3 minutes before any other person. I'm online, pam, seated. I'm waiting for them to come up. What that does is it gives you time to relax. It gives you time to relax. So when they come, they are the one meeting you. They will feel guilty for coming late. Reverse psychology. They'll feel, oh, this guy is here, he's early. Good. So then you are the first foot, them they're trying to catch up with you. Another thing is before they start asking you questions, try to ask them questions. Because if you don't ask them, they will ask you. Before you attend an interview, go and do extensive research about the company. You before I apply for jobs, I use 2 days before I apply. At the minimum, 2 days. What I do within those 2 days is first, I look at the job description, I read it, I save it. I don't apply immediately. I save the job description. So when it's 9 o'clock in the night, I go back and look at it. My wife is probably watching TV, my son is jumping around the house and doing what they know how to do best. Disturb everyone. So I look at the job description again and I look at it. Can I do this? Can I do this? In what way have I done this before? I'm asking myself the question they will ask me during an interview. In what way have I done this before? Can I explain a situation where I was running an advert and I had to change something? Can I do this? Can I do that? I ask myself those questions. Say yes, okay. And I now edit my CV with some of the keywords that I can see in the job description. And then it is my cover letter to match the job description. And then I apply. The moment they send me an interview date, I go back to the company's website and I sit there and I read. I read as if I'm studying for an exam that I must pass. So I will read every, if I see errors, spelling errors, grammatical errors, I would write it down. I would keep it in one side because I'm going to hit them with it during the interview. Oh, by the way, I noticed an error on so page of the website. Can you get someone to fix it? To them, it will shock them that who is this guy? They're already hitting us. We have never even started asking you questions. They're hitting us already. So after the introduction, oh, my name is this, my name is that. So before we go on, I noticed an error, a spelling error on so page on the website. I think you should fix it. I'm not saying I want to come and do it. I'm telling them to do it, right? Even though it's something I can do, but I can't do it if I'm not working with them yet, right? So I've shown them that I'm ready to hit the ground running. They're ready to they employ me. I already have things I want to do. Now I go to the social media pages because I'm in communications. I look at the way they communicate. I will read it. I'll read their method of communication. I will look for ways to improve it. So that's why companies employ. They want people to improve what they already have. That's just it. Maybe the person that left is going to a place where it's going to end better or it's bigger, or maybe they sacked the person or something one way. But they want the person that is coming in next to be better than the person that left there. So even if you're not better, even if you're going to be learning on the job, you need to put your foot forward and say, oh, these are things that I can do better. These are things that I can do better. So that's that. That's the part of interviewing the interviewer. So you ask them questions. It's very important. John, usually it's at the end of the interview they will not ask you, do you have anything to ask us? By that time, everything you want to ask us gone because they've bamboozled you with questions. You're already shaking. You're thinking in your mind that did I do well? Do I think they like me? That's what you're thinking in your mind. You won't have the strength to ask questions again now. Like, you can't be thinking that if they're going to ask questions, I know that I did not answer this question very well. Won't they think this? Won't they think that? You are already. But when you hit them with questions first, they know that oh, this person is ready for us. And also make sure, please, because that thing can set you up for failure in interviews too. So by the time you hit them with questions, they're like, oh, this guy is ready. They fire you. So you must be ready to respond. Share past experiences as examples. Uh, so one of the interviews I also attended, I'm saying one of the interview I've attended is just like three, just like three. And out of those three, I got one. So she asked me, can you explain what you would do in a situation where you are running a campaign and it's not performing well? I said, oh, I've experienced that before. When I first resumed at so place, they were running a campaign and it was not performing well. So what I did first was I went to go and check the keywords they were using, and I noticed that the keywords was not showing on any of the designs they are using. I've won. Then you may not understand this thing, but if anybody is in digital marketing or social media management, you know what I'm talking about. So you are using the keywords. For example, you are saying how to earn remotely. That's the keyword you're using to search. And the image on the page you're using does not have anything to do with how to work remotely. People will not click on it, right? Or let me use an example. If you go to Google now and you search for how to earn remotely, and then the first thing you see the topic, how to earn remotely, but the picture attached with it does not have anything to do with working remotely. Would you click on it? So that's basically what I explained to them that scenario. That, oh, I saw that the keyword was not in the design they were using. So I changed the design to have some of the keywords, then I improved on the keywords, and then we had a 300% increase in click rates. Chicken. I give them an example. Sometimes, if you don't have an example, create scenarios in your head and then apply best practices to it. That's how to give examples. So, if you're not sure of the question they asked you, tell them to rephrase it. Don't go and blab because they'll feel like, oh, this guy doesn't understand simple English. But if you don't understand the question, tell, please, can you rephrase this question? I don't understand it. Or can you explain the question further? During the explanation of the question, they will answer the question themselves. So that's the trick. So you now pick their words and use it to respond to them. Um, don't be afraid to name your salary requests. If they ask you, please mention it. So skills needed to be successful. Good communication skills, I mentioned that earlier. Be clear, be concise, and be effective using different tools like email. Pause. How many people use their emails? If you use your email, raise up your hand. Be confident. Okay. That is about 1/4 of us. Nigerians generally have bad email etiquette. No, 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 no. We have bad, very, very terrible. Especially those people we call celebrities. They're on Instagram. They put their email there for bookings, contacts. You go contact tired, they won't reply you. Cha. I was working in an advertising company and we needed to bring up some, I won't mention their names because I'm going to post this online. We needed some Instagram comedians and I sent mails to all of them. Only one responded, Pamela Adequiki. He's the only one that responded. Others, till tomorrow. Why would you put your email if you know you're going to respond to it? Even if you don't want to take the offer, respond and decline. I know people in Nigeria that they interviewed for two jobs and the two jobs contacted them, but one contacted them earlier. They already accepted the one for the first one. Then the second one emailed them and then gave them a better offer. And then they accepted the second one and they didn't mail the first one back that, oh, I'm sorry, I can't go ahead with this offer. They arrested him. That's not, you breached the contract, you already signed, you agreed to the, and then the other one came with the better offer. The best you could have done is send a mail to the other company and said, oh, I've got an offer for so. Good thing is you have not even resumed yet, so you can still cancel, right? Then you tell them, oh, I've gotten an offer. Can you match this offer? If they say they cannot match it, also, I'm sorry, I have to decline the offer at this point and go. Simple. But Nigerians have bad email etiquette. You will not. Have you checked your mail today? Have you checked your mail? How many people have checked their mails this morning? One, two, three, four, five, six. Six. Out of how many of us? Here? About 30. When I wake up every morning, the first thing I check is my email. After I won't lie. I check my email before I pray. I know pastor will tell me that I do. You should pray before you check your email. I do, but I check my emails and after that, and then I go ahead and pray and do my daily duties and all that. So you need to be able to communicate across those lines. Most companies will use Slack. How many people know how to use Slack here? Slack, Trello, Zoom, Google Meets, Microsoft Teams. No, the number was reducing as I was. So it's very important that you learn those things, learn how to communicate on those platforms as well. Uh, Self-discipline and time management, I mentioned that earlier as part of self-development. So many of us are not disciplined when it comes to time management or other things. So you need to be disciplined because I mentioned that they're going to track your daily deliverables. So there's an app called Asana. Most companies use it. Most remote companies that work remotely use that Asana. So you want to go and research about it because when you're applying, some companies will mention Asana in their job description that you must be able to use Asana. So you want to go and right now, after this meeting, go home and read about Asana, download ASANA, learn how to use it. ASANA. Learn how to use it. You can download it and sign up for the free version and begin to use it to communicate. They use it to set tasks and deadlines. So when a task is set and assigned to you, you see it on your Asana notifications. You see the explanation of what they want you to do. When you do it, you come back to Asana and click done. So it goes to your manager, and then the manager either approves or makes correction, and then send it. Sir? Canvas. No. Canvas. It's not like Canvas. There's Canvas. Yeah. Similar to Canvas. Similar to Canvas, yes. Very similar to Canvas. I think they have the same database system. So adaptability and flexibility, things can change rapidly in remote working environments. So if you're a graphic designer and you're working remotely and they've asked you to do a design today, by tomorrow things may change and that may not be the priority again. So they send you something else and say, oh, this is top priority now. Do it. So you should be flexible enough for that. Tech savviness. And some of us here are quite advanced in age, like myself too. Uh, but then these things are easy to use. They have mobile versions and they are on laptops too. They have laptop apps. So if you want to learn these things, I mentioned Asana already. So problem solving and decision making skills is also very, very important. Because you're working in a remote environment, your boss may be in the midnight. You cannot be calling your boss in the midnight and asking for questions or asking questions about a task you were given. Something can happen along the line where you are doing your task and then you need to make quick decisions so that you can deliver on time. You need to be able to make those decisions yourself and make the correct calls. They won't criticize you too much for making wrong calls because you had a call to make. You were in a tight deadline. You had to make a call, and then you made a call. But you must be able to defend your reasoning behind making that call. Defend your reasoning behind making that decision. That is what this means. Problem solving and decision making skills. That is what this means basically. So I think I'm done. Thank you very much. So time for questions if there are any.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate.
Thank you, sir. So before you go on, I learned something about accepting your accolades. Sometimes people say when people are clapping, no, please clap for me. Clap if you don't clap, I'm not going to continue. Clap for me, everybody will clap. So yeah, clap. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.